Getting a song stuck in your head might seem harmless, but did you know it might be affecting your sleep? As a music lover, I decided to do an experiment to see what these effects are. I based this experiment on a study called Bedtime Music, Involuntary Musical Imagery, and Sleep by Scullin, Gow, and Fillmore. This study found that listening to instrumental music worsened subjective sleep quality and led to more sleep-related earworms. My experiment consisted of 4 full days and focused on the effects of earworms induced by instrumental music. On the first 2 days, I stopped listening to music altogether, which was extremely difficult as I love listening to music. For the last 2 days, I only listened to instrumental versions of catchy songs any time during the day that I would have played music and for 30 minutes before bedtime. Each day, I kept a log of all the times I had a song stuck in my head and whether I found it enjoyable or irritating. After each night of sleep, I completed a sleep diary and an Epworth sleepiness scale. I hypothesized that earworms induced by listening to instrumental versions of familiar songs throughout the day and at bedtime would lead to a decline in sleep quality. Here are the results from the earworm log. I logged 19 songs that got stuck in my head on the control days and 26 on the experimental days. Out of those songs, 84.2% were perceived as enjoyable on the control days, and only 69.2% were enjoyable on the experimental days. The Epworth Sleepiness Scale did not show any large changes in my sleepiness throughout the experiment. Here you can see the data from the sleep diary. Total sleep time, time in bed, and sleep efficiency remained relatively stable throughout the study. However, on the days I listened to the catchy instrumental music, my average sleep onset latency, the time it took me to fall asleep, increased from 7.5 minutes to 12.5 minutes, and I woke up more often and for longer periods of time during the night. However, the most interesting and unexpected change was in my dreams. Good morning, it's day 4. Yesterday was my first day listening to music, and the weirdest thing happened. Last night I had a nightmare, and I don't get nightmares very often, and I remembered it, and it woke me up. It reminded me of an article we read for one of our classes where listening to music before bed is known to be linked with an increased incident of nightmares. I did not recall any dreams during the control days and had that nightmare on the first night after listening to music. On the second experimental night, I also remembered a dream during an awakening at night, but could no longer remember the actual dream content in the morning. As it turns out, getting a song stuck in your head might sneak into your sleep, and may be something to consider when listening to music, especially before bed. So sleep tight and don't let the earworms bite.